Hello, I'm Michelle Ray-Sobey from Edge Yoga School, and I'm here today to talk to you about one of my favorite books, Yamas and Niyamas by Deborah Adele. This is such a great book that I actually have this as one of our required readings for our 200-hour yoga teacher training. And the reason I chose this book when there's so many amazing books out there to choose is I think it does a nice job of helping the yogi navigate the water of social graces. In Sanskrit, yamas translates to restraint. And when I first heard this, I thought, how interesting that this community, this social piece of the 8 limbs of yoga should have to do with restraint. And after talking to some other yogi friends that I know, I'm starting to see a little more clearly now that we can't just do anything we want to do and say anything that we want to say. We want to honor and hold space for the people that come into our frame and operate on a higher level. And that's what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today. The two pieces that I'm going to cover are ahimsa, which is non-harming, and satya, which is truthfulness, and the interplay between the two. So in ahimsa, the idea in yoga is that we do not think harmful thoughts. We don't do harmful things. And, this moves beyond the obvious of don't go up and hit somebody. That's assumed, right? Or, don't kill spiders. That's also another take on it. But I think the bigger piece of it for me would be, the thoughts we think about people, like, oh my gosh, did you see what she was wearing? Or even saying things like that, any sort of gossip or any kind of lower vibrational conversation all violates ahimsa. And the problem with that is it drops our vibrational frequency. And for those of you that vibe with manifestation and the law of attraction or the secret or any of these teachings that, every couple of years becomes like a craze and then people sort of forget about them again, there's a reason, and these teachings are actually very old. From a religious point of view, it seems as though every religion touches on these ideas. So whether or not this idea, you vibe with this in this particular book, but I bet you somewhere out there, there's a book that's basically saying nonviolence, right? Ahimsa. So ahimsa gets a little tricky when we come into its partner, satya, which is truthfulness. And when we want to be honest and tell the truth. And I know personally through the years, I've always taken great pride in the fact that I was honest, forthcoming. But then as I got a little older and maybe a little bit more emotionally mature, I could begin to see that, one, my truth is only my point of view. It's my truth. It doesn't make it so, no matter how much convinced I am of this, right? And also that some folks may not be in a frame to hear what I have to say. Right? Even if I'm right? Even if we're right, that doesn't necessarily mean that we want to charge right in with our book of assessments and share that with other people, because that can violate ahimsa. So this can be really helpful teachings for a yogi practitioner in that if you're really torn on what to do and you're not sure, and it's somewhere between, geez, do I honor ahimsa with nonviolence? Do I honor satya with truthfulness? What do I do? Then we know that ahimsa comes above satya. So that might mean that we reframe what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're doing in our truth, in expression of our truth, in a way that does not violate ahimsa, because that comes first. So I think that boils right on down to love thy neighbor and be a good person and be a good egg and live high vibes and, all the different ways we have to say this same thing in our culture, which is, just be a nice person, right? Think nice thoughts and great things will come your way. And I'm not saying that, as a yogi, that I'm flawless in my practice here. Of course I'm not. But at least I can say that at least if a practitioner can work towards it and be mindful of it and just raise their awareness, and then when you do have a thought that maybe is a little violent, maybe back out of that some and see if you can't bring in some ahimsa into your life and see what comes next. So I hope that you've enjoyed this little snippet today. It's been lovely sharing these ideas with you. Namaste.